Hi Beverly, it's good to see you. You're the first one to join us. And Vanessa too, welcome. Good to see you joining us. And thank you for that comment. I'm just going to give a few moments for one or two more people to join us because I've only just come on. It's 9 o'clock. And Mark, I'm glad to see that you've made it. I saw your comment earlier on. You weren't thinking you were going to be able to make it. So welcome to the show. I hope you like my machine here. That machine there, by the way, was the last one available in Europe. I bought that machine many years ago and cost me about £800. I don't know what it's worth now. That was the last one available in the country. Joris, welcome. Good to have you. And I will be talking on this. Nina, welcome to the show. I will be talking about pain control, hypnotic pain control. Val, Nina, Joris, Mark, Beverly, Vanessa, Beverly, good to have you joining me. I did do one of these Facebook live shows a week or two ago, and it was very well subscribed. We had 84 live listeners, and while I was still answering the comments once I finished the show, somebody deleted the show, which was very sad, because I've got a competitor who's been following me since 2011, deleting all of my videos because he's afraid of me. I think Kevin, you joining us. Good to see you from Spain. I guess you're still in Spain. And Nina, good to see you as well. Fabulous to have everybody joining us. And I will be talking about pain control, specifically about pain control with one of my good friends, a client in Orlando, Florida, that I was helping this morning. And we've got some very exciting news about her. And I do have her permission to talk about her, although I won't be giving her name. She asked me to, but she did say that I must remember to look up there at the camera, actually, because otherwise it looks like I'm looking at my feet, doesn't it? So I will be talking about her and the pain control that I did with her. And I do have some exciting news about her to share. So I've got quite a few. I think there's about 10 of you in the chat show now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 of you. So I think that's enough. It's 3 minutes into the show, and I'll get started, I think. And I'm sure that you're probably all of you hypnotists, and I'm guessing that you all of you know about pain control already. Barbara, good to have you join us. But nevertheless, I'm going to talk about pain control for those who may be listening later on who don't know about pain control. So, as ever, let me explain. I'm going to talk generically, is that the right word, about pain control. And first aspect of pain control that I want to talk about, pain is a message, and as such it's very important that we think first of all about safety, because pain is our friend. It's there. Welcome, Sue and Barbara. Good to see you join us. Pain is there for a reason. It is our friend. It has a purpose. It's there to tell us usually that there's an issue, there's potentially something wrong. It's a messenger. So we must be sure that we pay attention to the message it's giving us. And I have to tell you to make sure that you go the normal route to find out what the message is trying to tell you, and go to your doctor to get the pain checked out. You want to, if you had a pain in your arm, you would want to consider, is this telling you that you may be having a heart attack, so you need to get assistance very urgently, rather than using hypnotic pain control methods. So you have to be sensible in the first instance. And I was in my local hospital not too long ago, talking to people about pain, and so I showed them in the first instance that I was looking after their safety, because I was talking to a lady about pain in her lower back. So I went through the steps, interviewing her about whether she had gone through the steps to find out whether or not she'd seen her doctor and whether she'd had x-rays and all that kind of thing, before I helped her, giving her some tips about how to deal with the pain. So that's a very important first step. So make sure that you have gone through all the normal routes to deal with your pain. If you have you, for instance, broken an arm, if you've broken an arm, then you need to be getting into casualty. So if you've gone through all the normal steps, then once you've made sure that you've done all the normal things that you can sensibly do, if you've still got the pain, then you can start to think about using this to deal with the issue. So if you've still got the pain that may have been going on for some time, Jojo, good to see you join us, and I hope you can see me and hear me, Jojo. And Jojo in the Philippines. So I'm guessing Jojo is probably the furthest person on the planet down there in the Philippines, and so that would make it about 4:05 in the morning in the Philippines. So all credit to you, Jojo. You must be very tired. And I'm guessing the majority of the rest of you are in USA, and Kevin, you're down there in Spain. And so that would make it, what time would that make it, Kevin? I'm not sure. You must be an hour ahead of us, aren't you, in Spain, I'm thinking? Perhaps you might like to type your time into the chat box there. But where were we? Oh, yes. So assuming that you've gone through all the normal steps to make sure that you've not got anything serious wrong with you, then we can start to look at ways to deal with pain. And pain is a message. It's telling us something. So in the case of my friend this morning that had a pain, she'd had dental work done, and she'd got quite a long history with this dental work, because she'd had a very bad abscess, and she'd been hospitalized about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. She'd been hospitalized. She'd had intravenous antibiotics because she had a really bad abscess in her mouth on this side. I think it was the left-hand side. Really bad abscess, and she hadn't been able to get to the dentist. So she had a really bad abscess. The dentist couldn't take the tooth out because the abscess was so bad. So she'd been hospitalized to deal with the infection, and she'd finally got into the dentist a few days ago and given us some I'd done some hypnosis work with her to prepare her to go into the dentist. And she'd gone to the dentist and she'd had the tooth out, and that was very comfortable for her. She'd been there and the tooth was taken out very quickly. And 3 days later, I was talking to her this morning, and she was still in a lot of discomfort. So I worked with her to deal with the pain. And so what I did to help her with the pain, hi Jacqueline, good to see you join us. Welcome. Catherine, did I say hello to Stephen Daly? Welcome to the show. So to deal with the pain, what I do I don't take prisoners. I tell my clients the pain is going to stop. I don't take prisoners. Bottom line, I tell my clients that pain is going to stop. So I begin by saying to them, when would you like that pain to stop now? So in that sentence I give them, I'm telling them it's going to stop now. I say, when would you like that pain to stop? And usually they will say, I want it to stop now, or I want it to stop soon. They don't usually get any argument about that. Most people want the pain to stop. And so my friend said she wanted it to stop now. And so what I do is to distract their mind, because the pain is all in here. It seems real, but it's all imaginary, because the pain, like when you've hurt a finger or an elbow or wherever it is, the pain is, you have the impression that the pain is in your elbow or in a finger or wherever it is, but it all is happening in here. It's all imagination. So if you distract the mind by engaging the mind in a conversation, so what I did was to just say to her, where do you sense the pain? So she described to me that she felt the pain in her jaw. Although when you describe the pain, she said the pain was here, but you should not assume that the pain is going to be there. That's where she felt it. It might be somewhere else. It might be down here or up here. But ask them where they feel the pain, and don't rush them. Get them to take the time. Do you like my cup? It holds a pint and a half of tea. But get them to locate the pain. And what I do then is to ask them if the pain, and by the way, that I'm saying the word pain, I'm being very naughty, because one of the things I do is to stop using the word pain, and I change that to sensation or awareness, anything but pain, because nobody likes pain. So I change the word I use to awareness or sensation or comfort level. Change the word that I use. And so I ask them then, where do you feel it? Get them to locate it. And then I ask them if it had a shape, get them to describe it as a shape. And that she described it to me, she went into quite a complicated description of, and I didn't rush her. She described a shape that was, she started to describe, she was saying it's like an oval, but it's not an oval, and it's like a circle, but it's not a circle. So I just patiently listened as she was waving her hands around and doing all this kind of stuff, and she was talking about fridge magnets, and I just patiently listened while she tried to describe this thing that was all kinds of shapes, that was an oval and it's a circle and it's like a fridge magnet, she was telling me. But I just sat there and let her describe this thing that she was very familiar to her, but not to me. And we finally got to a thing that was like a pear-shaped thing. It was a fridge magnet that was very familiar to her. And she thought it was very funny, and that's great, so I laughed with her. And she's smiling. And I couldn't see this because I was on Skype with her, and she was in Orlando, but I'm listening to her, and that's good enough for me, because I could hear she's smiling. That's good, because she was in discomfort with this thing that's causing her a lot of pain. And it always amazes me that somebody's been to the dentist and they leave their clients in pain. And I think that's outrageous, that someone's been to a professional and they leave their client in pain, because you and I would never do that, would we? Absolutely not. That's not the business I'm in. I don't leave my clients in pain. But we finally got to this shape, which wound up being a pear shape with a big red nose on it, she told me. And then I said to her, does it have colour? So what I'm doing with her, I'm distracting her from the discomfort and changing it into the position of the discomfort and the shape of the discomfort. And then I've asked her, has it got a colour? And it was pink with a big red nose. So we're changing it into the position, the shape, and the colour. And once we've done that, I asked her, would she like to move it? And she said yes, she would. So I suggested that she might like to move it down from her jaw there. And I asked her if she could move it down to her shoulder and just let me know when she'd done that. And as soon as she'd done that, she told me that she'd move it down to her shoulder. And then I suggested that she might like to move it down into her upper arm, and she let me know when she'd done that. And then I asked her to just move it down to her elbow, and she let me know when she'd done that. And then I asked her to move it down to her wrist. Then I asked her to move it down into her hand. And during the process of doing this, there was some difficulty because she had to describe to me that she was having trouble because of her telephone. I couldn't see all of this because I was just on Skype without a camera. She didn't have the camera on because she was using her mobile phone, and she was having to sort her telephone out. So I don't know what she was doing, but she sorted out the telephone. And finally, she moved it down to her hand. And then she started telling me that she had a tingling in her fingers. And she said that that was rather wonderful and rather strange. And I said, why is that strange? And she told me that it was strange because she hadn't had any feeling in that hand for 5 years. And I asked, and that was very special. And she said that was fabulous. And I said, why is that fabulous? And why haven't you had any feeling in that hand for 5 years? And she said, because the surgeon who operated on her hand 5 years earlier had told her at that time that she would never have any feeling in that hand again. And this was rather special because 5 years ago she'd had a bad accident where she was thrown through the back window of her car. And she then started telling me that she was going to be buying a new guitar. And that was rather odd because for a number of years I'd been trying to persuade her to start playing the guitar again. But I'd never known that the reason she hadn't been playing the guitar was because she hadn't been able to use that hand. I thought she'd just been depressed and that kind of thing. But anyway, I hope you're getting the picture that all we need to do to control the pain is to change the perspective on it. And so to recap, we need to just give it a shape, then change it. Get them to think about a color, and then move it. And although we gave it a shape and color and change movement, you could give it a color first and then give it a shape. It really doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you change the way they think about it. You could start with color first and then give it a shape. It really makes no difference. You're just giving them control of the color in some way and showing them that they can manipulate it and move it around. You could have just given it a shape and just left it that way and then moved it down the arm. Or you could have moved it across the shoulder. Or you could have just given it a shape and just pulled it straight out and then thrown it away. It really doesn't matter how you do it. You can use your own imagination and go with the flow. It's entirely up to you. It's just that you have to show them that they have the power to move it and manipulate it. There's no hard and fast rules to this. You have to show them that they have the power. And I remember the very first time I did this was with a lady who had fibromyalgia, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see that there's a testimonial for that. And when I worked with her, she told me that she was in pain, and I said to her, well, you're in luck, because I'm a pain expert. And she was the first person I'd ever talked to about pain, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I just said, I'm a pain expert, and off I went, and it worked in a few minutes. And I think I did a technique not unlike the one that I've just described with you. But Leon, welcome to the chat. If you have any questions, by the way, do type them into the chat box, and I'd be very happy to answer them. But going back to the lady I've been talking about, isn't it remarkable that I was taking her pain away and taking it down her arm into her hand, and by chance I managed to restore the feeling to her hand and reverse the damage done by a surgeon 5 years earlier. And that's remarkable. And to backstep, I forgot something that I said to her at the beginning, because when I started, when she had the pain in the jaw, I said to her, I wonder if that jaw is trying to tell us something. I wonder if that's got a message for us. And I had no idea that thing with the hand was going to be happening. So that was, in my mind, that's a miracle. And I would like to meet up with that surgeon and give him a good telling off, because these surgeons don't realize the damage that they do. And I've met some surgeons like that myself who've done the best they can to do a lot of damage to me, but it didn't work because I didn't listen to them. I made my own decisions about the kind of recovery that I was going to make, which is why I'm here and able to talk to you, because it might not have been that way if I'd listened to some things I've heard from surgeons. But pain, it's very easy to stop if we use metaphors wisely, because pain is largely imaginary. And I had a migraine when I was starting this chat, and I'd had it for quite a while, and it's gone now because while I've been talking, I've been distracted, because all of the pain that I had was imaginary. It was all in here, and it's gone now because I've distracted myself from what was happening. I feel sure that you must have some questions that you might like to put into the chat box there. And I do thank you all for staying here with me. I've got, must be 10 or 15 of you still listening there. You're still in the chat box, and I really thank you for that. And could you type in the chat box, if you would, a yes, if any of you have dealt with pain with anybody. If you helped anybody who's got pain, type yes in the chat box if you have. And I'll give you a few moments to do that. I'd be very interested to hear if you've helped people who've got pain, if you feel confident to help people who are suffering from pain. Because it's not difficult. You have. Well done, Nina. Joris, yes, Joris has. Good. And it's not difficult, is it? And it's Sue, you had good, and it's easy to do. You just have to look. And one of the things I find that helps with a client is when you look them directly in the eye with a big smile. And this is one of the things I struggle with because I don't smile enough. So I'm putting my best efforts into smiling now because I'm just noticing I hadn't been smiling. But when you smile at a client who's in pain, that smile in itself helps them with their pain. Just look at a client and smile and say, that pain is going to stop now. And your confidence helps them to make it go. And I know that you all have wonderful voices, just like mine. And I do apologize for that phone. Hopefully it will stop. And I should have unplugged it before I started this call. But your confidence is so important, and your smile is also important because that will help the pain. And when you say to your client, when would you like that pain to stop now? That last word, now, is the command that tells their pain it's going to stop now. Really, really important. Now, I've been going for about 26 minutes now, and I really thank you for listening. And I hope I've conveyed enough to help all of you to help people with pain. It's not difficult. And just to recap, you don't necessarily have to do it in this order, but when somebody has pain, you need to just locate the pain, ask them to give it a shape and a size, ask them if it has a color. You can ask them to move it. You can ask them if the color has changed, and get them to move the color to somewhere else, and ask them if they want to change the size of the shape. Ask them what they want to do with it when they move it, and just give them the sense. Thank you, Joris. Colors are great to work with. And thank you, Sue, for that comment. Get them to give them control of the pain by giving it context. Is that the right word? And let them know that they can take control by changing its form into shapes and colors, and changing the colors, changing the shape, changing its position, and have a giggle with them, have a laugh about it, and show them that they can move it around, move it within their body, move it outside of their body. They could take that shape and turn it into a football, and then they could kick it somewhere, they could throw it somewhere, they could screw it up, or they could let it expand, it just dissipates into something, disappear into nothing. They could just make it get so big that it gets thinner and thinner and thinner until it dissipates into nothing. And they could throw it into a rubbish bin, or they could spit it out. They could throw it out a window. They use your imagination. Use their imagination. You could say you're going to use your imagination, or they can use their imagination. The mind is limitless, isn't it? And all the time you're discussing it with them, then it's the pain is disappearing, as my migraine is now, because I'm using my imagination for things other than focusing on the pain of my migraine that was there, past tense. All day I've been saying it is there because it was troubling me and I had nothing else to think about but the pain, but now I'm saying it was there because I'm more concerned with looking after you there. Jacqueline, you're saying, have you got the link? Have I got the link for what, Jacqueline? I'm not with you. Link for what? My YouTube channel? Yes, Jacqueline. The mind is unlimited, and I was talking to somebody earlier on about two ladies who had sickle cell anemia, and that's a pretty serious condition, and they both had it since birth. And I was talking to them in terms of getting rid of it. Now, I don't for one moment think it's easy to get sick, to get rid of sickle cell anemia. As far as I know, it's incurable. But I also know that the human body is limitless. And I always tell people that the human body is a fully autonomous, self-healing machine. It can do anything. And I'm the physical evidence of that because 40 years ago, I was diagnosed a fully comatose vegetable. And I'm pretty talkative for a fully comatose vegetable, I'd say. And that tells me that miracles are possible. And so I tell people, I can make no promises for you, but what I can tell you is that your body is a fully autonomous, self-healing super machine. And every single cell in your body is fully autonomous. And every cell in your body talks to every other cell in your body. And if you give it wonderful things to do, it will do wonderful things. And all you need to do is to use this to switch every one of those cells onto full power. And when you do that, wonderful things can start happening. But you have to give it the instruction to go. When you do that, it can start happening. And then if you say every day in every way, I'm getting better and better, and just keep doing that, then it's like lighting the touch paper on a rocket. You can wait and see what happens. But I can tell you also, if you do nothing, you get nothing. So that's what I said to those two ladies. I didn't make them any promises. But I did say to them, just do that and see what happens. And so that's what they're doing now. I made them no promises. And they're fully aware of that. And it put a big smile on their faces, and they said they would give it a try. And they said they'll keep trying it. So I'll be keeping in touch with them, and I'll be interested to see what the results are. But it worked with me. It got me off of my hospital bed 40 years ago. And I've done that with lots of people who've had some remarkable results, not the least being the lady that I was talking with earlier on, who has overcome 3 bouts of cancer. She's also overcome stroke, and she's also overcome another debilitating condition to do with the brain that I can't remember the name of it. It's like a stroke, but she's had 5 conditions that should have killed her, and she's beat them all with hypnosis, with my help. So that proves to me the power of this. Sue Freeman, I will if I see them again, but I won't be seeing them that often because this was in the hospital. If you search Jacqueline on YouTube for Keith Anthony 0169, you'll find the YouTube channel, and you'll see if you look for a testimonial by Anne, she's wearing a big hat. That's the testimonial for her. I'm sorry about the delay on this. If you're getting a delay, I'm sorry. But I will be probably seeing those ladies again, but I only get into the hospital. I was in there today for the annual general meeting of the hospital trust, and I will be getting in there again, I think, in December. So hopefully I might see them again. and so the trips into hospital aren't that frequent. But if I see them again, then I will let you know how they're getting on. But are there any more questions? Because I've been going for 35 minutes now. And if you have, thank you for all those likes going across the screen. It's been wonderful doing this show. I hope I've helped you all. If there are any final comments, do them quickly. Thank you, Sue. I hope that this one doesn't get deleted, because the last one I did was a very good show. I had 84 live listens, and when I was still answering the comments, some malicious person deleted the show for me. I get that with my YouTube videos, which is why I've stored videos on YouTube. Because there's a malicious person who's been doing that to me since 2011. And I suspect I know who's doing it, which is very annoying. But I hope this one doesn't get deleted. I suspect it's going to, but I hope it doesn't. But thank you all for coming. Unless you have any last comments, I really thank you all for coming. Thank you for all your comments. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I'm thinking you enjoyed it. Do tell your friends about. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to book sessions with me, I do hypnosis face-to-face. I do Skype sessions. I do Zoom sessions as well. And Monica, good to see you. I'm just coming to the end of the show, but this recorded session will be available on Facebook, assuming it doesn't get deleted like the last one does, as I was just saying, by somebody malicious on Facebook has been deleting my sessions. Hopefully that doesn't happen to this one, but it's good to see you, Monica. And unless anybody has any more questions, I'll bring the show to an end, and this should be available on my timeline very soon, I'm hoping, if not immediately. So I guess to bring the show to an end, I have to click the finish button, I suppose. But thank you all for coming. Really appreciate you being here, and I'll do another show in a week's time. If there's anything that you would like me to talk about, do make a comment on my timeline, and I'll make that the topic of my next show. So God bless you all. Namaste, and bye for now.